Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to A1 Math. So today, we're going to be talking about angles. What do we know so far about angles? Well, if you remember, we had a lot of work with our compass drawing different angles, right? We were given a compass and we were able to draw angles such as 60 degrees, 30 degrees, 45, and so forth. So we had a lot of practice drawing angles and bisecting angles and copying angles, etc. Today, we're going to look at the geometry behind angles. We're going to talk about seven rules that are going to be useful in helping us find different angles. So before we get going into that, let's go through a bit of a review when talking about angles. So a right angle measures exactly 90 degrees. A straight angle measures exactly 180 degrees. An acute angle measures less than 90 degrees. An obtuse angle measures more than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. A reflex angle measures more than 180 and less than 360 degrees. Complementary angles, they sum up to 90 degrees. And supplementary angles sum up to 180 degrees. This is nothing new, right? This is all just review about angles. So as I stated, there's 7 rules that we're going to use to help us find different angles. And now these 7 rules, it's important that we remember these 7 rules, at least know how to use them in various questions. So rule number 1, all straight angles measure to 180 degrees. All right angles measure to 90 degrees. Opposite angles are always equal. The 3 angles inside any triangle have to have a total of 180 degrees. In an isosceles triangle, the 2 base angles are equal. In an equilateral triangle, all 3 angles are equal, meaning all 3 angles are 60 degrees. And a circle is 360 degrees. So if we're given a question such as this one here, and we're asked to find the unknown angles. So our rules are down here, but on a test, you will not be given the rules. You have to remember them and know how to use them accordingly. So what are we given here? Well, we're given an isosceles triangle, right? Because this side and this side are the same length. So this is an isosceles triangle. So if we look down to rule number 5, an isosceles triangle, 2 base angles are equal. So in this case, angle X, and angle Y are equal. They're equal to one another. We also know that the 3 angles inside any triangle equate to 180. That's rule number 4. So 180 is equal to 56 degrees plus angle X and angle Y, plus angle X and plus angle Y. Now, we know that angle X and Y are equal to one another, so we could simply write 180 is equal to 56 degrees plus 2, let's call it angle XY. Great, now we can solve. 180 minus 56. All divided by 2 will solve for our angle XY, giving us an angle of 62 degrees. So angle X is 62 degrees, and angle Y is also 62 degrees. Now we could double check by simply summing up all our angles inside our triangle. 56 plus 62 plus 62 does in fact equal 180 degrees. That's how we know we did it right. Let's try another one. In this case, we have a right angle. So we look down at our rules. Number 2, all right angles measure at 90 degrees. And we also know that it's a right angle given this symbol down here in the corner. So if all right angles measure at 90 degrees, and we're looking for x, but before we solve for x, let's go ahead and solve for this angle here. We'll call it y. So y is simply 90 degrees minus our 30 degrees, minus our 30 degrees, giving us an angle of 60 degrees. And now, if we look down at our rules again, rule number 1, all straight lines measure 180 degrees. This right here is a straight line. So 180 is equal to y plus x. And we know y to be 60 degrees. Therefore, angle x is simply 180 minus 60, or 120 degrees. Not too bad, not too bad. Now I want you to pause the video and try this one on your own. Did you give it a try? Perfect. Let's go over it. So what are we looking at here? This looks a bit more confusing than our other questions, but really it's not. So at first, we have an isosceles triangle on the outside here. How do we know it's an isosceles triangle? Well, both these sides are the same length. So if we go down to our rules, in an isosceles triangle, the two base angles are equal. So if this is 32 degrees here, we know that this is also 32 degrees here. Now, we also know that the three angles inside any triangle equate to 180 degrees. So if we ignore this other triangle for a second, we could solve for this entire angle here. Simply 180 degrees minus 32 degrees minus 32 degrees again, giving us an answer of 116 degrees. Okay, but we're looking for angle A. So if this entire thing is 116, how would we go about solving for angle A, or angle 2A for that matter? Well, this entire thing, so let's label this y. So angle y is simply the sum of angle A plus angle 2A. Therefore, angle y is simply 4A. Okay, so if angle y is 4A, and angle y is 116 degrees, because we calculated that up here, we can simply have 116 degrees is equal to 4A. Dividing both sides by 4, we could solve for angle A, and that is going to equal 29 degrees. So we have solved for this angle here, 29 degrees. We've also solved for this one here at 29 degrees. 2A is simply 29 degrees multiplied by 2, giving us 58 degrees. Okay, now we simply use the same exact rules in solving for angle C. Because angle C is also in an isosceles triangle, we know that angle C is equal to this angle here. So we can label this angle C as well. So if we have 180 degrees minus our 58, we're going to equal 2C, because we're going to equal both of these angles at the bottom and on our base. Dividing both sides by 2, we're going to get angle C to equal 61 degrees. Not too bad, as long as we remember our rules and we break apart the question step by step. Let's give a word problem a try. Everybody's favorite, it's always word problems. So triangle ABC is an equilateral triangle. Angle A is divided into 5 equal parts. What is the measurement of each part? So with word problems, it's always a good idea to start by drawing a picture. So if we can draw an equilateral triangle, doesn't have to be to scale, we're going to label it A, B, and C. Now the question says, angle A is divided into 5 equal parts. So angle A is divided into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 5 equal parts. So what do we know about equilateral triangles? Again, if we go to our rules, an equilateral triangle, all 3 angles are equal to 60. So angle A is equal to 60. Angle B is equal to 60 degrees. And angle C is also equal to 60 degrees. Now to find each part, well, if we know there's 5 parts and we know the angle, we can simply divide our 60 degrees by 5, giving us angle of each part. So 12 degrees is our answer. And that's it. So I hope this helps in being able to solve problems related to angles and word problems as well, also relating to angles.